Hello, and first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate you on your selection of being now an official published author. I'm very excited that you were chosen over hundreds of selections, but more importantly, your piece of work was identified as one of the best in Middletown. Obviously, we would love to have this celebration at Middletown High School, but the substitute of being here virtually and celebrating you does not minimize your accomplishment. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Dan Rauchi as well as Miss Christina English for putting on this production again and making the shift from being in person at the Performance Arts Center to now virtually. And also, I would love to say congratulations to all of the award winners or the published authors and their teachers who helped them reach this accomplishment. So again, congratulations. We hope that you enjoy our virtual ceremony and continue doing the great work and changing the world.
Good evening. I'm Marco Gaylor, Chief of School Operations and Communications for the Middletown Public Schools. This year's edition of Silent Sounds is the 20th of the second generation for students in grades 6 through 12. Congratulations to all whose poems, essays, and stories appear in this year's Silent Sounds publication. We are very pleased with the variety and quality of this year's selection. The COVID-19 pandemic has turned our world upside down. During this crisis, our students and teachers have continued to work and learn in a new environment. Normal routines and social life have come to an abrupt halt. Social distancing is suddenly a phrase we know and hear daily. We are spending time at home, making sacrifices for the greater good. Thank you to the teachers, families, and friends who have supported and continue to support our students' writing efforts during this unprecedented time. Many people have contributed significantly to ensure that Silent Sounds endures, especially Joseph Getter, editor, Dan Rauchi, 612 ELA supervisor, Dr. Magda Parvi, Chief of Academics, Christine English, ELA instructional specialist, and Michael Fraulino, English teacher at Middletown High School. I would also like to recognize the behind-the-scenes support of many people for their hard work and commitment to the program. The selection panel: Ronnie Arbo, Elizabeth Bodrick, Andrew Dutton, Jennifer Tom Hadley, John Henley, Cindy House, Jenny Lecce, Lucy McMillan, Dan Rauchi, and Victoria Stahl. Appreciation also goes to the Middletown Public Schools Curriculum Office, 612 ELA Supervisor Dan Rauchi, and Chief of Academics Dr. Magda Parvi, and Superintendent of Schools Dr. Michael Connor. Special thanks to our sponsors, the Middletown Public Schools, Middletown Cultural Council, the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, the Elizabeth Swaim Arts Enrichment Fund, Community and University Service for Education, and the Middletown Commission on the Arts. I have enjoyed working with the people and groups who believe that encouraging young people to explore, enjoy, and create fine literature is important. With their support, the celebration of Silent Sounds will continue to encourage our students' individual creativity and provide a unique way for our students' voices to be heard through the literary arts. Again, congratulations to all of this year's winners. Thank you.
Hi, I am honored to introduce my student, Miriam Abdulkader, to you today. I had the pleasure of getting to know Miriam as part of my senior expository writing course this year. Both of the poems that she wrote, Dear Best Friend and Loneliness, are powerful and heartfelt with haunting imagery and deeply emotional content. I know you will be as moved as I was when she first shared them with me. Enjoy.
Dear Best Friend by Miriam Abdulkader. You are the hot chocolate in the cold weather. You are the hot bath after a hectic day. You are the sunshine after the rain. You are the summer after the winter. You are the light on the dark road. You are the hand that wipes my tears. You are the reason for the smile on my face. You are the medicine that heals my pain. You are the eraser that erases my mistakes. You are the sugar in my cup of tea. You are the hand that helps me to get up when I fall. You are the rainbow that colors my life. You are the NaCl that raises my blood pressure. You are the oxygen that helps me breathe. You are the ibuprofen that relieves my pain. You are more than a friend to me. You are my soul friend. Loneliness by Miriam Abdul-Kader. It's been a while since I left you. You still look the same. Nothing has changed except the people that used to live here. They disappeared. Wait, I am home? It feels like a dream. I am knocking on your door. Will you let me in? Do you remember me? Are you still mad at me? Will you forgive me? I still remember the dark night that I left you. I still remember your tears were falling down like a waterfall. Please don't give me that look. You make me feel more guilty. I am finally back. Will you hug me? Why are you ignoring me? Is it because I left you? Please don't run away from me. I'm scared. I don't want to go back. I don't want to leave you again. But at the same time, I don't want to lose my dad. I'm confused. Help! Please don't run away. Please don't fly away. Please stop ignoring me. That hurts me more. I am sorry that I did not tell you that I was leaving. I am sorry I did not hug you before I left. I'm sorry that I left you with tears. I am sorry that I make you feel disappointed. Please don't leave me again. I don't want to be lonely again. Hold me tight as you did before. Let's walk and hold hands again like we did before. Let's laugh again like we did before. Wait, why are you disappearing slowly? Why am I running in a closed circle? Wait, don't disappear. Don't leave me after I found you. Why is it so dark here? Why is it so hard to breathe? Please hold my hands and guide me to the light. Why can I not find you? I am calling your name. Why don't you answer me? Where did you go? Bring, bring. Mom shouting, Miriam, wake up, you're going to miss the bus. It was just a dream.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to introduce you to Emily Barker and her suspense-filled piece called Pompeii, City of Ash. This narrative was written as a culminating piece for our interdisciplinary unit that explored geologic events and narrative writing. Emily's writing displays how dialogue can move the plot forward and how descriptive language creates imagery and suspense. Her piece will have you on the edge of your seats, rooting for the main character and her brother. Enjoy it. This is an excerpt from Emily Barker's short story called Pompeii, a City of Ash. But ever since our fight this morning, my brother is no longer my hero. Now all I have left is my mother, and to be honest, I don't have her either. Ciao, Mama, I spoke quietly. How do you feel today? I ask this question every day, and every day I get the same answer, silence. As I lay a cool towel on her forehead, she opens her eyes as green as moss. Her eyes used to be blue like the ocean, but since my father, they have changed. Hestia, she whispered. I don't think I've heard her voice in days. I immediately sat down on her bed so I could hear her. Yes, Mama, what's wrong? Are you okay? I asked quietly. Do you promise me that no matter what happens, she says, short of breath, you will stay with your brother? But Mama, no, you will stay with him. No matter how much he tries to push you away, you will stay by him and you will never let him leave you behind because, mi amor, you are just as strong and brave and valued as he is. This is the most I've heard her say in years, and it was the only thing I cared about right now. Not what happened with me and Apollo, not her being sick, but the words that she just uttered. That group of words were all that mattered at this moment, the words I had longed to hear. Okay, Mama, I said with tears filling my eyes. I love you. Mama faded as the ground started to shake.
This student writes with a sophistication and wisdom well beyond her years. Everything that she has written this year, be it poetry, creative writing, narratives, or even a simple response to literature, has been thoroughly enjoyable for me to read. The way she's able to tap into the depths of character in a story, or probe into the emotions of human beings in her poetry. Her writing is second to none, especially as a 7th grader. And therefore, I am not at all surprised that she wasn't just chosen once for Silent Sounds, but twice. She is truly one of the most gifted writers I have had the opportunity to work with over my career. And that's why, in my congratulatory email to her, I made sure to let her know that when she starts publishing books, I'm expecting 1, maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 autographed copies of those books. It has been a true pleasure to work with this student and watch her probe into the emotions and every microscopic detail available in an author's toolbox. So it is with a great honor and a privilege that I congratulate Sage Berry. Way to go, Sage. Smile by Sage Berry. I have friends and family who love and support me, but sometimes I wish they could see that the issue isn't them. It's me. I don't need to be constantly reminded that there are people who care. I need a change in mindset, but I don't know how to get there. I just need some time to be, and I'll accept myself when I'm ready. I know I have a lot of anxiety, but what they don't seem to understand is that it will always be a part of me. I don't want a stranger with a fake smile. I just need to chill and learn to relax every once in a while. Someone who thinks I'm fine and can do this alone, and is dying to check an email or play on their phone. I know I'm okay. I just need some time. So I smile when I can and simply say, yes, I'm fine. That's Smile by Sage Berry. Through a Dog's Eyes by Sage Berry. My human is finally home. I go to greet him, but he's too busy talking on the phone. I remember the days when we would always play, but now he's older and just wants to get paid. I miss those times, oh how I do. How do I change this? If only I had a clue. My time here is coming to an end. Is it that hard to get attention from my closest friend? Through a Dog's Eyes by Sage Berry.
Hi, first off, congratulations, Ava. Well done. Ava, if you don't know her, is a quiet, soulful figure. She is very deep and thoughtful, but kind of keeps it quiet to herself. So this story was well done, showing a little bit of her inner soul to the world. It's called Perfect, and it's about an American girl who goes over to Paris, a culinary student, who is kind of a perfectionist and wants her world to be just so. And on her journey in Paris, through friendships and disappointments, she realizes that friendship and kindness are more important than being perfect. And the story continues throughout that. And it's really well done. And her insights and her narrative story was just really enjoyable to read. Congratulations, Ava.
This is a short story called Perfect by Ava Bunn Sr. Normally, I'm deathly afraid of planes, but nothing could ruin the best day of my life. So sitting in my seat, chewing gum, swinging my legs, and watching a movie on my phone, nothing could rattle me. I'd spent my life so far saving all my money for this. I practiced every moment I could. Everybody loved my baking, but was it Stonewood good enough? Was it Paris good enough? Stonewood, the best baking school in all of France, the school I would be going to. This was truly the best day of my life. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for landing. I woke up with a start, glad that I'd got some rest. Nothing could ruin this day, not even being tired. I took my travel brush out of my carry-on and quickly ran it through the mop of brown curls on my head. I straightened my blue skirt and top. I pulled out my tiny neck scarf and tied it on. It was just like all the European girls wore in the movies. I'd even added some shiny black heels.
This student is an incredibly insightful young lady who's always willing to think outside of the box and analyze things on a level much higher than a lot of her 7th grade peers. When we had finished up our unit on the Holocaust and the injustices that occurred during that terrible time period in history, this student created a "This I Believe" statement that spoke out and condemned the inherent issues present with prejudice and racism and treating people with inequities that should never occur. When she first wrote this piece, I was super amazed by how powerful it was as it spoke out against the prejudices that were occurring with the onset of the coronavirus. Now, with everything that has happened over the last few weeks in this country, it reads even more powerfully and speaks to an even bigger audience about the problems with inequities in our world. I am super proud to introduce Caitlin Burgess, who did an incredible job with her writing. Way to go, Caitlin.
Racism is an ongoing epidemic in this world. It doesn't matter where you are, you will always find some form of racism. whether you're Hispanic, Asian, African, or Caucasian. Some people think racism is gone, but they are sadly mistaken. This is why I believe that all people should be treated equally. For example, in the real world, many people of Asian ethnicity, including myself, have caused xenophobia in others due to their lack of knowledge of the recent COVID-19 outbreak. This belief relates very well to my Holocaust book because in this book, the Jews were killed, tortured, and experimented on just because of their race, religion, and appearance. The Nazis and their followers thought that they, the Jews, were lesser than those with blonde hair and blue eyes. Everyone should have equal rights and respect. Everyone should be treated the same way, no matter their ethnicity, sexuality, religion, or the color of their skin.
Gabby, what can I say? Congratulations. I'm so glad you're being acknowledged outside of the classroom for your great writing and thinking. Gabby is an amazing young lady in so many ways, a deep thinker, and that creates a natural writer in her. She has a tendency to bring joy to people and knowledge through her writing, and it's just beautiful that she's been acknowledged, and I really appreciate it. She did 2 pieces that she was acknowledged for. One was her On My Honor. Once again, it was an interdisciplinary unit where we read the book, and she then was able to summarize it using a different type of writing, and she chose verse. So the free verse, and she did the entire book in free verse. Well done. Great use of language and word use and word choice to really get the story across in a very small, accessible piece. And she also wrote many poems over the COVID distance learning situation. And one of them was chosen called Bored People. I'm sure many of people can relate to that. And inside that poem, that collection of poems, she also wrote many others. So the whole collection was phenomenal. And Bored People was chosen as one to be presented. So congratulations, Gabby. You're an amazing young lady. And I'm so glad everyone is going to be able to see and hear your work.
Someone should come, take us to a place where there are no limits, no half deals. The perfect place can fool us by telling us that we belong because it's perfect and not real. But at the end of the day, we're only fooling ourselves by taking our sanity and discarding it at our own expense. We are destroying ourselves, falling in an endless void of make-believe. Who can or will pull us out? No one, because we're trapped, intertwined with each other, no way out. That was Bored People by Gabrielle Butler.
On My Honor, in verse, by Gabrielle Butler. I didn't want to go. He pressured me to. I made it to where I wanted to, though. But then he ran off. He was told not to. Then I got in with him. The skills needed for this was beyond him. Anger took over. I didn't like it. I couldn't find him. Then he left. Maybe we'll find his body somewhere down the river. Then I start to quiver. Swirling in my emotions like he did in the water, I ride back like he would, if he followed the path. I lock them in before I crumble. I sit in my room thinking of my doom. It doesn't even terrify me what could happen. Can't get any worse. It's like I've been cursed. I can smell the stench of the river, and from now on, it will be the smell of death. I'm back on my bed, on my last thread. I've been poisoned with lead. Their eyes were red. I'm now dead. Inside. My dad comes in, gives me a speech from within. Take some blame. There is much less shame. I'm glad he came. And now he stays. We all graze in the field of dishonor.
Bonjour! I'm here to introduce Clara Dobbs McAuliffe, one of my students who this year won Silent Sounds. for her piece titled Insane. Clara is a reserved, shy writer, but she holds this talent for creativity and amazing, unique writing ability. So I encourage her, and it takes her forever to share with me because she's protective of her work, which I admire and respect so much. I'm so proud of you, Clara, and not at all surprised that you won. Cheers.
The Introduction to Insane by Clara Dobbs McAuliffe. Once, a long time ago, everyone thought that I was a beauty. People came around the kingdom to the castle where me and my father lived to come and see me. They thought that if they saw my face, drank the water I drank, or breathed the same air that I had breaths of, they would turn to look like me. And some even claimed that it worked. I didn't know how people came up with this type of stuff, but it sure did keep me entertained. Poets wrote about my hair that flowed through the air like a waterfall, or my eyes that looked like the center of a storm. I loved those times. I was so adored. It was magical for me, even though I didn't have one drop of magic. Suitors came from all over the world, hoping to take my hand. They brought the best gifts from their kingdoms: glowing coins to match the color of my light hair, delicious foods to keep my cheeks full and rosy, and animal companions so that I would not become lonely. My father never said yes to these proposals, but he never said no. He adored that my beauty was making his country rich. Our farmers' fields were flourishing, the people were fulfilling their dreams, and our kingdom became great. I do admit, I did like to look at myself in the gilded mirrors throughout the palace during this time. I tried to stay as humble as I could, but I guess I should have known that all of this wouldn't come without consequence.
Hi, this is Mr. Darby. I'm very proud that Ramon Estrada's two poems have been selected for publication in this year's Silent Sounds. Ramon has been a fantastic student this year, always interested, always engaged, always asking questions. Just been truly wonderful to have in my humanities class this year. His two poems, which he submitted, The Daughter of Sheppey and A Summer Day in December, are just wonderful pieces of creative imagery, powerful pieces. I wish I could take some credit for his work, but all I did was review them and sign off on his submission. Ramon's work speaks for itself. It's powerful, full of images, quite sophisticated. So again, I'm very proud that Ramon's work has been selected for this year's Silent Sounds. Congratulations, Ramon. The Daughter of Sheppey by Ramon Estrada. In the land of deep greens and a river that leads to the sea, I stood up to my knees in a patch of untamed grass, the color of vivid feldgrau. It was tall and permeated with weeds and wildflower. It hissed as a light wind glided through each of its blades. They scratched softly against my bare skin as the wind whistled against the desolate plain and brushed my long brown hair against my pale, freckled face. I closed my eyes and felt the embrace of Sheppey. I took a deep breath and let the scent of the earth cleanse my body and soul. And as I breathed out, I felt the soil from beneath my feet start to rise in between my toes. I started to feel myself sink into the sod. Underneath the ground, I felt myself become unbirthed. I felt my extremities extend into roots. I felt my skin and hair and bones become living. But when I opened my eyes again, I was back on the surface. I inhaled, then exhaled once more. And I knew it was time to leave. The Daughter of Sheppey was me. A Summer Day in December by Ramon Estrada. The dirt sucked up the snow like a sponge, while the sun drenched the ice with warm rays of light and wrung them out to dry on a string outside. and in the street the snow mounds bled along the curb, leading to a sewer drain, and bled until they disappeared, and there was no more snow or ice or cold for you to feel on your feet when you walked outside, wanting to feel winter on your skin on a summer day in December.
I would like to congratulate Nicole Forno for her selection in this year's Silent Sounds. Nicole is a junior at Middletown High School, excels in her AP classes, has just recently been selected as a member of the National Honor Society, and is also active in choir and cross country. I've known her since she was a freshman. She is a member of my Dragon Watch group and is certified as a Safe School Ambassador. Her writing is stellar, and you have the pleasure now of hearing her selection, The Next Adventure in the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Congratulations, Nicole.
Hey guys, my name is Nicole Forno, and I will be reading an excerpt of my writing called The Next Adventure in the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn for Silent Sounds 2020. Jim's voice broke as he started sobbing over his wife and his children. After minutes of this despair, Tom's face lit up. Hey Jim, how'd you feel if we were to fetch your family for you? It could be the true adventure of a lifetime, Tom said as he was eagerly smiling. We could seek the word of slave trading and take carriage there. Tom ended his plan there, but the look on his face made both Jim and I realize that there was more to the plan than that. Not knowing what to do, Jim reluctantly agreed to this idea because there was no way for him to feel better without searching for his daughter.
This is Mr. Prince, and I'm excited to introduce our next submission by MHS senior Sierra Freer. Sierra is an incredibly thoughtful and creative writer who always brings a unique perspective to her work. Without further delay, this is Exercising Imagination.
An excerpt from Exercising Imagination by Sierra Freer. The forest behind my house is not a forest. It is anything you want it to be: an ocean, outer space, or fairy tale village. The cul-de-sac at the end of the street is not a circular dead end. Some days it's a mountain, and others it's a pool of lava. The world around me can be anything inside or outside the realm of possibility. One day, when I could still count my age on just my two hands, I found myself especially bored. Nothing could entertain me. My eyes darted back and forth looking for something, anything to provide me with a little bit of amusement. I noticed my pink sack hanging on a hook, a rusty metal spade on a pile of gardening tools, and a bag of marshmallows. I shoved the shovel and marshmallows into the bag and trekked into the woods. I pulled out the shovel and dug into the earth, creating a small pit. A stick poked me in the leg, so I grabbed it and shoved 2 marshmallows onto it. I sat down on a nearby log and began roasting them in the air over the hole in the dirt. For the hour that I stayed outside on my log, I was a valiant wilderness survival expert in the frozen tundra whose only form of sustenance was a bag of marshmallows.
Hi, congratulations, Addison. Addison is a busy young lady, as bright as can be, who brings one of her days alive to us in a creative writing narrative called Dance Competitions, According to Me. So it's insight into her life, her busyness, and at the same time showing the idiosyncrasies and the details that take place, as well as the emotions that go with it. So just well done, and so nice to see you're acknowledged for the great writing you do all the time. Good job.
Hi, my name is Addison Gennaro, and I'm going to be reading a piece of writing from my short story, Dance Competitions, According to Me. So I'm going to get into that. It's 6, Mom, let me sleep, I cry as my mom turns on my light to get me ready for my dance competition in Massachusetts. Get up, Addie, we have a big day ahead of us, Mom says. I drag myself out of bed and put my leotard on and try not to cry out when Mom tugs at my hair. And then she tries to get the big earrings that always cause an ear infection into my ears. I hear my phone ding and I see a text from Carly. Is anyone wearing their hair pieces? I text back. I'm bringing them, but I'm not sure we're going to wear them. Addie, head up, my mom says as she sticks another dreadful bobby pin in my head for the perfect bun. Reality check, Mom. It's impossible to get perfect hair. I try to get foundation on my face without looking like a shiny Cheeto. Mom loads on powder and makes me look like a ghost covered in flour. I rush to put my black pants on and my company jacket and load all of my dance bags and costumes into my mom's car.
Then the little beastie comes running out in his pajamas that are way too short for him in his bare feet in the 30-degree weather and says, "Mommy, where are you going?" Did he not hear me tell him last night that Mom and I were going to be gone for the whole day because of my dance competition? Apparently, this kid has short-term memory loss.
Congratulations to all of our Silent Sound winners. My name is Agatha Meeker and I teach 6th grade at Keigwin Middle School. Our first winning author is Samuel Higgins. Samuel has written 2 winning pieces. The first one is inspired by The Crossover, a novel by Kwame Alexander. In it, Kwame has several 10 Reasons Why poems. These are 10 reasons why Sam does not like lobster. This one had me laughing out loud. Enjoy!
12 reasons why I don't like lobster. Because I was hungry and I hadn't eaten breakfast. Because they're about to cook the lobster. Because she wanted to take a picture of it. Because he helped hold it up. Because the picture needed to be perfect. Because the lobster dropped on the ground. Because the lobster started moving. Because she started screaming. Because it started dying. Because it was in pain. Because the meat was rotting. Because dinner felt like hours away.
Sam's second winning piece is called Control. It's a short story with a lot of plot twists and some strong imagery. I hope you enjoy this one. Sam, I'm so proud of you. I hope you never stop writing.
An excerpt from Control. Night is approaching, and I go back to my resting spot. But tonight, I can't go to sleep. Maybe it's the howling of wolves. Maybe it's the knowledge that I'm completely alone. Or maybe it's the feeling that I'm not. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I see something move. Then I see it again. A giant cat appears. It's bigger than anything I've ever seen, with 3-inch claws and white strips that run from its head to its tail. I see its eyes following me, watching my every move. I try to stare into its eyes and walk backwards, thinking that I'm just invading its territory, but it growls and walks towards me. I silently wish that I had brought a knife or anything that could help me right now. The cat slowly crawls towards me, preparing to have a big dinner. I pray that something, anything would happen. The cat is almost on top of me, and I put out my hands in front of me and look away. Suddenly, a small beam of light flies out of my finger and bumps into the cat's eyes. It lets out a giant roar and starts charging blindly at me. I barely dodge to the side and start running out of the cave. The cat keeps trying to catch up, but temporarily blinded, can't figure out where I am. I keep running straight until nightfall, and I finally sit down, tired. How did I do it, and how do I do it again?
I'd like to introduce Ms. Addison Hubbard. Addison wrote a poem called That Feeling, which is a reflection of the book The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. Addison revised this piece until it was just perfect. She poured her heart and soul into it. I am so proud of you, Addison.
That Feeling by Addison Hubbard. Grunt. The sadness of the book has me shook like a pile of jello. The feeling of sadness running through my veins, the feeling of my cold body has me frozen like an ice cube, counting down the minutes till the ice cube melts. My feeling of happiness comes back through my veins to the warm temp, my body coming back into this world with the feeling of happiness, the adrenaline racing through my body. And now I'm turning into a solid person, and I have the ability to dream big and imagine the good in everything, and to feel like a real person. So my feeling was like a bird dying, but then coming back into this beautiful world. Inspired by The Crossover by Kwame Alexander.
This is Mr. Prince, and I am pleased to introduce our next piece by 9th grader Catherine Killian. Catherine's use of imagery and tone results in a powerful and thought-provoking submission. This is Dark Spaces.
Dark Spaces by Catherine Killian. You sit on the floor of a dark, narrow room. Before you can take a good look about, a dark, shadowy arm wraps around your neck. A soothing, almost friendly voice starts whispering into your ear. You struggle, trying to free yourself from this thing. The arm tightens around your neck in an all too familiar way. Gasping, your eyes widen as tears start brimming in your eyes. A hand, cold, yet comforting, stroking the top of your head. Unable to lift your head, you choke on tears, fighting to breathe, air ringing against your throat. The room feels as though it's closing in around you. The shadow's voice whispers into your ear, "Why fight me? I'm your only friend." Fighting harder than ever, you fight to look forward, seeing the silhouette framed against the darkness. Shocked, you freeze for a moment. In that moment, the shadow wraps its legs around your waist and slams you into the wall you hadn't realized you were leaning against. You gasp sharply, darkness creeping in as the shadow murmurs in your ear, still sounding so friendly. "How can you keep falling for that? It's truly pathetic." You can barely keep your eyes open now. The shadow removes its arm from around your neck. Limpness takes over. You fall like a rag doll in the shadow's arms. Blinking, you open your eyes, looking about. You're once again in a dark, narrow room. Realizing this, let out a blood-curdling scream as the shadow's laugh rings throughout the room, dancing around you, doing a taunting jig.
I'd like to introduce Matt Kriger. Matt has written a short story titled Otherworldly Crisis. This is a story about a boy who enters a school raffle, and can you believe it? He ends up at NASA headquarters. This story has an amazing plotline, and it is so funny. I hope you enjoy it. Matt, I am so proud of you.
He knew he should be taking this more seriously, but after 6 months of training, he wasn't feeling it anymore. By this time, he knew that the whole thing of sending children to another dimension was only a gigantic fundraiser for NASA. They would never do this unless they had to, because the portal had a limited capacity, and it would be much better to send scientists. "Are you ready?" asked the scientist. Chris hadn't taken the liberty to memorize their names, because they were all the same to him. He only knew the name of the scientist that would be coming with them, who was Dr. Lawrence. Another kid, named Eric, would also be coming with him. He seemed okay, besides being a nerd. "Yeah," said Chris. "Okay, let's go. There's no point to postpone it further." "Activating the portal," said a voice through the speakers. They were in an enclosed area, and the scientists were talking to them from behind glass. 3, 2, 1, and now, with a flash, the world was gone.
I'd like to introduce Mackenzie La. Mackenzie has written a short story titled Stuck in Easttown. What can I say about this story? It has an amazing plotline, figurative language, imagery, well-developed characters. No spoilers here, but the ending had me clutching my heart. Mackenzie, I am so proud of you, and I hope you never stop writing.
"Maria," the teacher called to me. Just great. Everyone's head turned toward me. "Do you mind getting some chalk from the supply closet?" Yes, I minded very much, but I didn't say anything. As I got up, my head still hung low. I could feel everyone's eyes pressing down on me. I walked down a few halls and reached the door marked supply closet. Just as I was reaching for the knob, I heard some muffled voices coming from the office just across from the closet. I could make out a few words. "Nobody can hear this, and they're clear." It sounded as if that person was talking over the phone. I could hear another voice, a principal. "You have my word. I won't tell anyone." There was the sound of the phone being put back into its place, then the scuffling of papers. I shook my head. Probably something about the rat infestation. Our school has had that for years, and yet nobody has done anything about it. I focused my attention back to the supply closet. I turned the knob. Nothing. I turned again, and still nothing. I pushed as hard as I could with my shoulder. The door swung open, and I fell into the room. I was falling. Wait, falling? This wasn't normal. I screamed as I stumbled into the darkness of oblivion.
Hi, it is my pleasure to introduce the writing of Ailish McKenna. Ailish is a student in my 7th grade language arts class, and she is a phenomenal writer. Ailish wrote an essay for our end of unit Holocaust project called This I Believe, and Ailish's essay, titled Laughter is the Answer, is just amazing. As soon as she wrote it, I knew it was full of powerful messages that lots of people probably need to hear today. So congratulations, Ailish. I'm very proud of you.
I believe that everyone needs a little bit of laughter. When I was little, my mom's good friend moved to Wisconsin. I was about 5. I remember the day she told my mom, I was in the living room playing with her kids when I thought I heard someone crying in the kitchen. Being the nosy girl I was, I walked in there nonchalantly. The room was smoky and dark. My mom's friend was cooking something at the stove, while my mom sat across from her. I was right. They were crying. I have always hated when my mom cried. I asked her what was wrong, and she said that our friends were moving. I didn't really know what that would mean, but I could tell it wasn't a good thing. I kind of panicked and blurted out a terrible joke. I knew it wasn't that funny, but I said it all the same. They tried to be respectful and smile, but I knew it didn't really do much. I was really worried and just wanted to lighten the mood. Even if they didn't laugh, they still knew my intention. I was just trying to make them feel better in a 5-year-old kind of way. I laugh so much every day. I laugh at pretty much anything. I think laughing a lot helps me to see the good in situations. It guides me to be more lighthearted and kind.
Hey there, I'm here to introduce Michaela Miner, one of my students that won Silent Sounds this year. This is her second win this year in 2 contests for her writing, though her first love in life really is dance. Congratulations, Michaela. I'm so proud of you, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. Good Enough by Michaela Miner. I'm not good enough. Not one singular soul will convince me I am beautiful. Regardless of what you may say, I am worthless. I refuse to believe that there is beauty inside of me, because no matter what, I will always be ugly. No longer can I say I am good enough. Now, read again from bottom to top. I am good enough. No longer can I say I will always be ugly, because no matter what, there is beauty inside of me. I refuse to believe that I am worthless. Regardless of what you may say, I am beautiful. Not one singular soul will convince me I'm not good enough.
I would like to congratulate Amanda Nakowski for her selection in this year's Silent Sounds. Amanda's been selected previously for Silent Sounds. She is a junior at Middletown High School, excels in my AP Language and Composition class, and is very talented in the arts, taking currently an advanced pottery class with Mr. Shagru. She is a wonderfully talented poet, and you will now hear her selection, Shrewd. Congratulations, Amanda. Shrewd by Amanda Nakowski. How could I be so doubtful that I'd rather let my dysphoria eat me alive like acid burning through my flesh, exposing bones that were already clear, than face an unlikely consequence that comes with being wrong? I can feel the subliminal answers hidden in my mind, boiling into my conscience in an unwelcoming manner, screaming at me, just admit it and it'll all be over. But the pain remains because mistakes are bullets that pierce through my skull until my brain splatters onto the ground in a perfect pattern. It's okay to make mistakes, but not under the eyes of a hawk.
Hello. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce Sebastian Nazario Colon to you today. Sebi was a welcome, charismatic addition to my senior expository writing course this year. He will be reading excerpts from 2 essays, Dinner Tables and F, The Validation and History of the Bad Word. Both of these pieces showcase Sebi's strong and clever writer's voice. Be sure to listen for the deep meaning embedded in his dinner table metaphor, and I'm sure you will agree that his clever redefinition of the F word is quite provocative. Enjoy.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Nazario, and this is my essay, Dinner Tables. Thank you, grass, thank you, sky, thank you, universe, for the food we're eating here tonight. I stared into the darkness of my own eyelids as I heard her therapeutic voice say grace at the dinner table. Not to God, but to the earth. I, a 16-year-old Hispanic boy raised Catholic, was in awe. My dinner table wasn't anything like this. My family was never too religious. We went to church every Sunday, but we never said grace. My family didn't eat at the dinner table. We ate on the couch in front of the TV, where we watched other families eat dinner together at their table. I always thought of myself as different because my family never had that tradition. Because my family wasn't involved in the white culture and didn't hold the same values as every other person in my town or the people on TV. The dinner table was a place where one was supposed to eat supper whilst casually bantering with their family. From the outside looking in, it seemed like everyone else had dinner at their table, while I did not. However, I was never too familiar with this idea of being the same as the rest. As a kindergartner, I was the only one in class that wasn't fluent in English, while the others were starting to read and write. In the first grade, I was taken out. I'm running out of time, but if you want to read the rest, it'll be in silent sounds. Thank you. Hello, my name is Sebastian Nazario. This is my essay F, The Validation and History of the Bad Word. If you were to go on Google right now and search quotes on swearing, you would find a list. If you were to click on this list, you would find a wide variety of quotes from a wide variety of distinguished linguistic experts, most of which put swearing in a very positive light. The reason experts on language love swear words is because of their uniqueness. There's nothing in this world that can compare to the plain occasional cuss word. No other type of word has the power to provoke heavy emotions, all while being fully capable of relieving or disarming those same emotions. The power of conscious diction in every sentence is prevalent in everyday interaction. As human beings, we tend to make sure that when we speak, we use words that are clear, concise, and comprehensible to avoid misunderstandings. The thing with swear words is that they are a blank template for you to shape and repurpose, all based on the context of how you use them. Swear words have the power to have many simultaneous meanings, all while avoiding misunderstandings. This is the inner beauty of the occasional swear word, its malleability. Swear words are not blatantly appreciated. From a young age, we are all told these words are unsayable. I am running out of time, but if you want to read the rest, it'll be in silent sounds. Thank you.
Trinity Norfleet's poem, Not That It Matters, is an example of how a rhetorical device can play magic on the page to effectively communicate a powerful point. Her repetition of the phrase, not that it matters, juxtaposes the idea at the end that it actually does matter a lot. Trinity takes a single idea and blows it up bigger, giving the reader additional context and information to better understand her point. She doesn't just restate the point. She uses amplification to expand and dive deeper into her point to show readers and listeners how important it is. Trinity's Not That It Matters leaves us all with a call to action. Congratulations, Trinity. Keep writing.
Not That It Matters by Trinity Norfleet. Did you know that the world is slowly getting warmer? Not that it matters. Did you know that the plastic we use is polluting the land, air, and waters? Not that it matters. Fun fact, conflict diamonds are diamonds mined in the process of labor. Not that it matters. I bet you didn't know that billions of trees are being cut down each year. Not that it matters. And desertification takes a drastic effect on thousands of species a year. Not that it matters. Did you know that more than 150 million people worldwide live in the streets? Not that it matters. And we can't forget about the hundreds of millions of animals hunted in the U.S. each year. Not that it matters. Do you know how many people are dying and being abused due to their sexuality? Not that it matters. What if I told you that heart disease is the leading cause of death in the U.S.? Not that it matters. And we can't forget about the dry lightning bushfires in Australia. Not that it matters. And did you know that in 2018, over half the human trafficking cases involved children? Not that it matters. But people keep turning a blind eye to these situations, and that matters.
Congratulations, Nishta. Nishta is a quiet, shy person with a lot to say. And a lot of times she uses her narrative writing to say all of those things that are going on in her heart and in her soul and in her mind. And I don't know if she surprises herself, but she surprises me, and I always am thrilled with how well she writes. She's gifted, and I think it's just born in her. So it was really nice when we did our interdisciplinary unit on My Honor, and she chose to turn it into a book of verse. So she included enough poems to create a story from beginning to end, all in verse on My Honor, and did a phenomenal job. Her word use, her figurative language, just fun to read, even in such a tough story. All I have to say is you are giving Kwame Alexander a run for his money. You rock on, girl. Keep writing. Congrats. On My Honor in verse by Nishta Polycarp. All because of a stupid dare that swirling, unforgiving monster swallowed him. Now he's gone. A hole in my heart unfilled. Sadness and guilt, all because of me. Tears stream from my eyes, screaming for help. Please, running blindly up the street. They came and left. No one there to help. Dead fish, dead people. The stench of the churning river. I lay on my bed. It won't go away. All his fault. All my fault. All my fault.
Hi, it is my pleasure to introduce the writing of Laksha Ravichandran. Laksha wrote a story for our end of unit interdisciplinary project in the fall, and her story, which happens in the future, is an exciting story of Sarah, Tina, and the narrator trying to survive Mars. Will they survive? You'll have to read the story to find out the answer, and I definitely suggest you do. Laksha is a talented writer. She did an amazing job. I'm really proud of your efforts, Laksha. Keep it up. Laksha's winning story, Surviving Mars, is an exciting piece of fiction, and today I'd like to share a brief excerpt with you. Earth, a place where lives are lost at battle. The Earth has been destroyed since 2020. Now all humankind has to live on Mars for as long as it takes for Earth to come back to how it was or get it back. The year 2077, you shall help Sarah and Tina and all humankind on Mars to live again on Earth. Sarah, Tina, and me are just best friends. We go to Cloverfield High, one of the most advanced high schools on Mars. It all started when there was a food shortage. They had to terminate 830 people so everyone could be fed equally. In that 830 people, 2 of them was mine and Sarah's parents. From then on, it was just me, Sarah, and Tina. In a few months, more soldiers were needed for battle on Earth. Old and young were drawn out of a basket to go and fight. Their families were given the life of luxury as a bribe to have them on a suicidal mission. You'll need to read to find out what happens to Sarah, Tina, and the narrator, but believe me, it's worth it.
This student is probably my most prolific writer in class this year. Her common response to an assignment that I would give would be, yeah, I'll do it your way, but then I'm also going to do it my way too. Her inherent want to create is amazing to me. During our unit on creative writing this year, her group, as part of an interdisciplinary unit, was to create a narrative about survivors of a plane crash. Well, this student spent 2 months and 25 pages with the passengers boarding the plane. And I'm still waiting to find out what happens when the plane actually crashes. The same was true with her poetry. She has a profound way with words that speaks to a much higher age than she actually is. And she wrote a lot. I am super proud to introduce Zuzana Rogowski, who wrote an incredible set of poems during our poetry unit and even before our poetry unit started. And so this poem is just a microcosm of all the wonderful work she did over the last couple of months. So Zuzana, way to go. Love by Zuzana Rogowski. Love is something no one is sure how to define. It's a mix of emotions no one knows how to explain. It's something we all have, whether we show it or not. Love is a flutter you have. Love is something you need. You live for love. In fact, we need love to live. We fall in love, or we already have it. Love is love. Everyone deserves love. And that's Love by Zuzana Rogowski.
Hello, this is Mrs. Carpenter from Keigwin Middle School, and I'm here to introduce Brianna S. She will be reading her poem, Dear Papa, which is an amazing poem. She worked really hard on it, and we're all very proud of her.
Hi, my name is Brianna Stila. I go to Keigwin Middle School, and this is my entry, Dear Papa. Dear Papa, I gave you 500,000 hugs. I said I'll love you several times, but was it enough? Was it enough? Without you here, I'm lonely. I miss you so dear and truly, 'cause I want you here with me, if that's clear. 'Cause I want you here with me, 'cause I'm not there with you. You are in my heart, 'cause I love you too. I love you. I love you. I know you are a fighter, so why did you stop fighting? You're an inspiration. Inspiration. I don't want to lose hope because I lost you. Oh. 'Cause I want you here with me, 'cause I'm not there with you. You are in my heart, 'cause I love you too. I love you. I love you. It feels so unreal, but it's really true. I just can't process this, 'cause I lost you. Lost you. I just don't understand. You were just here with me, then you disappeared. Oh. 'Cause I want you here with me, 'cause I'm not there with you. You are in my heart, 'cause I love you too. I love you. I love you. I miss you. I miss you. And it's true because I really do miss you. I miss your laugh, your cuddles, and everything. Everything. 'Cause I want you here with me, 'cause I'm not there with you. You are in my heart, 'cause I love you too. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Hello, my name is Susan Stanton, and I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing you to Nathra Sundaram. Some may think of Nathra as a very quiet and shy individual, but she is anything but. She is very opinionated, she's very forthright, she's very independent. She can be very talkative at times, which is a wonderful thing for us to see as teachers. She's very brave, she can be very honest, she's very open-minded, which is one thing that is very wonderful about her. She is fiercely independent, yet oftentimes reserved, but she is very perceptive and individual, and that shines forth in her classroom studies and in her writing. I look forward to seeing all the wonderful things that Nathra will do in her life. Good luck.
You have stardust in your eyes and wind in your hair. Asteroids circle around you as you fly up in the air. And as you settle in, there is fire in your soul, ice beneath your skin, and stories soon to be told. There is nothing more thrilling than the sky aloft, and the ground beneath you is soon to be lost. This feeling right now is yet to be discovered, but the stars up above still do hover.
I'd like to introduce Eli Taft. Eli's short story, Everything But a Janitor, is told in the perspective of a school trash can. He has quite the dialogue with the school intercom system. Eli's use of personification will have its readers laughing out loud. Eli, I am so proud of you. Never stop writing.
Everything But a Janitor, Chapter 3, and for your information, Ron is a trash can, Karen is an intercom, and they live in a middle school. You're crazy, said Karen. You want to escape? We don't even have legs or arms. We can't move. All I can do is change the time, turn on the intercom, and ring a bell. We can't possibly— Stop! Yelled Ron, and Karen obeyed with wide eyes. It's going to be difficult, I know that for a fact, but we have to try. I need to get out of here. Ron had been thinking about how he could escape for a few hours now. He just needed help from Mr. Slam. Mr. Slam was a door. He was a little shady, but he could communicate with the rest of the doors, and that was just what Ron needed. Here's the plan, he said to Karen. First, you cause a bunch of chaos. You ring the bell longer than you should, you change the time every few seconds, and you turn on the intercom at random times. The staff will have no idea what's going on, and they'll probably need to hire a repairman. In the process of hiring a repairman, they might, just might, hire a janitor too. When he empties me, you make the bell ring non-stop. He'll put me down to come inside and see what's going on. Then the doors outside the school will push me into a janitor's closet. And then what? Said Karen. And I will stay there for the rest of my life, said Ron. I've always been bored in the storage room I was in before I came here. I wanted to get bought and used, but I should have realized my life could have been worse. I just want some peace and quiet.
Hello, it is my pleasure to introduce the writing of Edmund Torgerson. Edmund is a phenomenal writer, and as his 7th grade language arts teacher, I have been lucky this year that he has shared so many of his stories that he has written, both in my class and on his own. Edmund is an amazing writer, and I know he'll go far. His entry for the Silent Sounds contest titled The Dimension will not disappoint. So make sure that you check it out when you get your copy of Silent Sounds. I plan to read an excerpt from the rising action of his story, The Dimension. I eventually come around to find that I'm in a valley surrounded by mountains. When I turn around, there's a weird, short, squat alien with eyes that don't face in the same direction. Hi, my name's Crazy Eyes. What's yours? The alien asks. Ah! What's wrong? Crazy Eyes asks. You're an alien, I scream. So, to me, you're just as alien as I am to you. Now, about that question I asked earlier. My name's Jack, I say. Suddenly, Crazy Eyes says, I hear a draglion. Get down. A what? Just get down. I drop to the ground moments before the draglion swoops over me. Crazy Eyes pulls me up and tells me to follow him. I follow him to a speeder and I hop in. Turns on the speeder and zooms away, but the draglion begins to catch up. Push that red button, Crazy Eyes asks. Aren't those supposed to be dangerous? What's your dream? To be a mad scientist. Well, mad scientists push big red buttons. If you want to find out what happens when they push the button, read the rest of Edmund's story.
Jimena Trejo Aguilar's piece, The Day Everything Changed, exemplifies how setting can drive the plot. The exposition of this piece transports the reader to the streets of Puerto Rico, where people spill out of colorful houses to play instruments in the street. The festive atmosphere is abruptly interrupted by a magnitude 7.1 earthquake. The story unfolds to a tale of heroism. Jimena's attention to specific detail and careful research into her setting makes this a narrative that stays in the reader's mind long after the final word. Enjoy this piece, and congratulations, Jimena.
The universal refugee experience is the journey that refugees take to get away from danger in their homes. In the book Inside Out and Back Again by Ta-Han Lott, how a 10-year-old girl that lived in Saigon had to flee her home since there was a war. Imagine being happy in your country, but having to leave because of political issues. The reason why they left Saigon was that in Vietnam there were so many wars, like in the war between Vietnam and France. Well, Ha was in one of them. She had to leave all behind in her country and flee to another one. Throughout the story, Ha faces challenges and changes. This story is an example of how refugees feel in real life. I'm gonna tell you my own story. When I was in Mexico, I was still a baby. My dad was not a refugee, but he did immigrate to America. He had been working for more than 20 years in a company where people talk badly about him. He got discriminated against for being Mexican. When he got us papers to leave Mexico, I didn't want to leave my country because all my family was in Mexico, but I had to get a better education. When I knew that my dad was being discriminated, I felt the anger going through my body, like wanting to know English so that I could defend my family, because I just felt like fighting the person who discriminates against others as if they were dogs. I wanted to tell them that we are human beings, not slaves. I may not have a perfect life or be rich like other people, but I do have the love of a family and hope for a better future.
Please join me in congratulating Scarlett on her phenomenal essay and for winning the Silent Sounds writing contest. Scarlett wrote an essay for the This I Believe writing project. Her essay, titled I Believe Kindness Goes a Long Way, is powerful and just what the world needs today. A little kindness goes a long way. Keep up the writing, Scarlett. You're a phenomenal writer. Scarlett believes that a little kindness can go a long way. Here's a brief excerpt of her writing.
My belief is central to my life because it reminds me that even if I feel down, just saying good morning or holding a door for someone, it could make another person's life just a little bit better. I try to add some noble deeds and extra smiles into my day. My belief makes me think more about how my life will impact others. I also believe that my ideals can make others feel better just by knowing they made someone else feel good. And if everyone follows this belief, I believe this world will be a much more pleasant place to be. Scarlett is a phenomenal writer, and I encourage you to read the rest of her essay in the Silent Sounds book. It is worth a read. Nice job, Scarlett.
Angelina Vartuli is a talented writer whose sense of empathy and insight shine through her words. In her poem, Deep Down Inside, she uses everyday objects and places to illustrate the deep connection that one has to home and the anguish of leaving it as a refugee. Her words are carefully chosen and her subject is heartfelt. She leaves the reader with a deep appreciation of the individual refugee experience and a lot to think about. Enjoy. Deep Down Inside by Angelina Vartuli. I am from eggs of Brother Coy's chicken, from whistles and warning sirens. I am from the tile on the floor, honorable, unfair, risky. I'm from the papaya tree that produces juicy, huge papayas, full of sweetness and love to share. I'm from Tet celebrations and strength and hope, from Mother and Brother Kwong. I'm from the ones who display dolefulness in their eyes and protect their loved ones from the flaws in the world. From the way you act on Tet will determine your fate, and only men can put their foot down. Only they have feet of righteousness. I'm from meetings with war wives and terrors from downtown and special class times. I'm from the South Side, the angry side, the watched side, the fearful side, the immigrating side. I'm from lotus seeds and rice cakes, from the place that holds the truth of my father and his disappearance, and the way father used to look at us, emotional, as we peacefully drifted to sleep. The young photos of father and holidays and me laying on an altar until mother locks it away to move on from our past sorrows and hide the answer to a family mystery that I shall not know.
Hello out there. My name is Pam Hinkle, and I teach English at Middletown High School. I am delighted to introduce Logan Wenzel, MHS Junior, soon to be Senior, AP Language Superstar, MHS Athlete, Writer, and Entertainer. Logan brings to Silent Sounds for the 2020 edition a piece titled Untitled. Untitled by Logan Wenzel. There is a beauty in silence, but how do we know what silence sounds like? Silent sounds. For silence sounds, when a tree falls alone, does it make a sound? For silence brings a sense of peace, comfort, security. Personified conscience of sound. Thrown in the wind are the words of the less wise. How do we make our sound optimize? The strength in silence is undermined by those who can't shut it. Those who talk the loudest have the least to say. Silence is the tansu to bigger thinking, a stairway perhaps to a higher level or the bookshelf you need for knowledge. The end.